Do you sometimes feel lost, embarrassed, or a little overwhelmed talking to factories? Well, today I'm walking you through the exact steps to understand sourcing and supply chain. If your samples are late, or your production is inconsistent, or your factories sometimes even ghost you, this episode is going to help you and it's going to save your brand. So save this video for later, maybe under your fashion brand lessons, so you can refer to it. So today we're diving into week 4 of my sourcing and supply chain modular. It's taken from my course Concept to Production Ready in 6 weeks. I'm going to walk you through how to confidently delegate or create tech packs, source the right factories, manage your sampling, negotiate properly, and actually move from idea to production without chaos. This video is for fashion brand owners, startups, or emerging designers who want a professional guidance, a structured process, and consultative approach instead of just guesswork. Something that you can keep to and follow throughout the seasons. So, why sourcing and supply chain is so important. Here's the truth. Your supply chain is actually the backbone of your brand. You may have the best designs in the world, but if your factory doesn't understand your expectations, then your designs will suffer and your budget will suffer. If your specs aren't clear or your timeline is unrealistic, whole business will be under jeopardy. Don't try and be clever with your factory. Be open and honest. Encourage transparency and tell them where you need to learn and where you need to gain extra support. Delays cost money. Miscommunication destroys product quality, and the wrong factory can completely damage your brand reputation. The good news is this is not something that only big brands do. It's something that you can follow as well. This structure is a learnable system, and once you understand it, you gain control, confidence, and credibility in the industry. So let's start at the foundation. You've worked on your brand review, confirming with yourself the styles that you want to sample. Select styles that you can build into outfits and that aren't too complicated. It's always best. Understand their capabilities without any stress and pressure. Allow them to do things easily. Every factory will specialize in a certain fabric or a certain way that they make something. Okay, so after you know what styles you want to sample, it's time for your tech pack, your design brief. This is your product blueprint. Think of your tech pack as the instruction manual to your garment. It tells the factory exactly what you want them to do. If it's not written in your tech pack, your factory will either not do it or they'll decide on something by their own accord. And this is where mistakes can happen. So what goes into a professional tech pack? A garment overview, which includes, of course, the style name, and always assign that style with a number. Make up the numbers in your own filing system. It will include the category, whether it's a dress or a hoodie or a blazer, etc. The season, your target customer, and your intended fit. This is also where the design communication comes in. And this helps the factory instantly understand what they're working with. So include pictures and swatches wherever you can. Present it as a pack and refer to each section as if you're walking them through an instruction manual. Include your measurement and fits that you want, which is a clear measurement table, your master base size, your fit intentions, whether it's oversized, tailored, or slim. Factories can't guess the design fit. They need clarity. When you include swatches, you include the fabric and material information such as composition, weight, finish, whether it's stretch or not, the performance of the fabric, expectations that you want. They may advise you against something else. So leave those points open. Don't just say cotton. Say that you would like 100% cotton at a 240 gram with a brushed finish and a shrinking tolerance of a certain percentage. In regards to weight, if you don't have that information, you can literally weigh a t-shirt, which gives you an indication and an idea of the weight of that particular fabric that's been used. Express what you've done to the factory so they can calculate it back and understand the starting point of the weight. Just keep your communication open. It would be, you would need to include construction details, where the quality is made, or include the hanger information if you've gained that fabric from a hanger or an exhibition, or always include the swatch if you can't do that. The stitch details, seaming details, hem finishings, button and zip qualities that you want the factories to use. And if you don't know the name of these certain stitches, take a photo, zoom in, take a photo of where you've originally got that information from and show it to the factory. They'll help you. You'll need to include trims and labeling, brand labels, your designs for the artwork. Everything must be documented, and ask the factory, can you source this for me? Factories will help you wherever they can, so continue to be respectful and transparent. Colorways and variations, if you have multiple colors, show them. Show the Pantone references wherever you can. If you have multiple sizes, include the grading, or ask them, will you grade the spec for me? They usually do if you approve your sample sizing throughout your process. The factories aren't mind readers, so everything that you want to explain to them, put it in writing. It protects your pricing, your quality, and your brand, and it keeps your brand consistent. And if you've never created a tech pack before, it's okay. This is something that you can learn confidently with the right guidance and the right support. And then you can keep to this process season upon season and create it as an automated system for yourself. You may want to subcontract this area out, but at least you know how to communicate what you need and you know what to expect. So the next point is factory sourcing. Find the right manufacturer. Once you have your tech pack, the next step is to finding the right factory. Notice I didn't say cheapest factory. I said finding the right factory, because cheap mistakes are become the most expensive mistakes. So here's what you need to look for. Capability matching. The factory, as I mentioned earlier in the video, factories specialize in different areas. So make sure you are selecting a factory that is compatible with the samples that you want them to make. There's no point in selecting a denim factory if you want to make lingerie, or a tailoring factory if you want to make sweats. Look out for minimum order quantity requirements, which is also referred to as MOQs. It's always abbreviated in communication, so look out for that. Whether they offer a small batch options, or whether they offer small batches ready to scale, or just find out exactly what their minimum order requirements are. A lot of factories now will actually allow small quantities to run. And of course, this will feed into your sustainability. Ask their preferred communication, whatever their preferred communication is. It could be, a lot of factories communicate just via WhatsApp or WeChat, but ask them, do they want every bit of communication on email? You may want to start on WeChat or WhatsApp and then take it over to email for your records. Ask them, try and understand the expectations of communication. How long do they leave it before they respond? Do they respond at all on certain communication platforms? What is their clarity expectations? Keep your language simple when dealing with the factories. Ask about their certification, ethical and quality standards. How do they look after their staff, their ethical standards, their sustainability, if that obviously is a big point for your brand, as I mentioned a moment ago. Choose carefully your factory, and also choose 2 or 3 factories to do your first sample. Keep your pricing transparent. It's okay to negotiate in a very transparent way. Pricing is not just your cost, but you need to understand why it's costly. This shows professionalism and credibility, and for you to understand the process that you may have chosen something labor intensive that you want to reduce on. So where do you actually find your factories? Well, you can find your factories on industry sourcing platforms, professional platforms, even such as YouTube and LinkedIn. Social media is a great advertisement for factories. There's a lot on there because people are actually visiting the factories and recommending them. Trade shows, in-house industry referrals, specialist support or fashion consultancy studios. Your key mindset is choose reliability, communication, and consistency over cheap and risky. So now you have the sampling process and you're turning your ideas into reality, and you have your factories shortlisted. It's time to reassure you that sampling is not getting it perfect at the first time. You need to keep your sampling process tight, which is why you need to communicate as fully and as detailed as possible within your tech packs, but you're not going to get your ideal sample first time. So you do also need to choose 2 or 3 factories to complete your first sample, and then you'll get a closer idea. What we find is, as you get to know a particular factory, they're so busy, sometimes they just very quickly churn out the first sample and the second sample is absolutely pristine. Make sure you don't fall into that trap that they only present you with a good sample at gold seal stage. Make sure you get the first sample as close to what you've instructed as possible. And this is why you need to put your first sample into 2 or 3 factories. Never rely on just one, because you want the comparison. You need to know the efforts the factory has made into the first sample. So look at quality, look at stitching, look at the fit and comfort, even the wash and the consistency, the feel of the fabric. Try the garment on, move in it, wash it where possible. There would be no testing at this stage done from the factory, but you can wash it. Provide structured feedback. You know, all of this process is not done in seconds. It's a long process, so make sure you counter that in your critical path. You may want to increase the body length. You may want to tighten the sleeves or use a stronger zip. Clear feedback equals stronger results, especially for the next sample. So be as detailed as you possibly can. Once you've approved the sample, this then becomes your gold seal sample, and it will be your reference sample. And from here, you'll be ready to go into your size set production or your pre-production samples. This is where brands often panic, but you don't need to, because you've set the process up. Lead times, ask for their production lead time, sampling lead time, shipping timelines. Create a realistic critical path with all of this information. A critical path is a time frame spreadsheet for you to follow your processes to the end result, which is your delivery date. You should be negotiating, but negotiating with the factory does not mean pushing them into a corner for the lowest price. It means understanding the process and agreeing to a fair price, clear expectations, dates, deadlines, mutual benefit relationships, payment terms. It's got to be fair for you and for the factory, and reliable and trusting for you and the factory. So let's recap. Okay, so the steps have been: create strong, professional, detailed tech packs, research and source factories that are aligned to your designs. Being structured in your sampling and your feedback. Evaluate quality, fits, and be consistent. Communicate regularly and clearly. Manage your timeline through a critical path and communicate that critical path to all parties. Unsure or overwhelmed or intimidated by dealing with factories, know this: you're not alone. Every successful brand owner had to learn somewhere, and you absolutely can learn this too. If you want support, guidance, coaching, structure, along with industry processes, instead of guessing your way through this, this is exactly what my program teaches you and helps you with. So make sure you like this video, subscribe for the rest of my series, and comment below. Tell me what part of sourcing and supply chain management confuses you the most. I'd love to guide you further. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, bye-bye for now.